Last thing before we go tonight, Marjorie Taylor Greene, staying on brand, has somehow compared the treatment of the 1-6 insurrectionists to the Nazis who carried out the Holocaust, just as she previously compared mask wearing and vaccines to the Holocaust. You may remember a few months back she apologized for her initial remarks after she was invited to visit the Holocaust Museum in Washington, where they explained the Holocaust to her. But then this morning she went back to her go-to material.
And you're not a domestic terrorist if you went to the Capitol on January 6th supporting President Trump and caring about election integrity and not wanting to see fraud in our election systems. That doesn't make you a domestic terrorist. What happened on January 6th was a riot, and it needs to be treated as so. These people have been locked up, held in solitary confinement, and now the FBI and the Department of Justice is hunting Americans all over the country. But you see, here's what's going to happen, Steve. People are going to be fed up with this intimidation because we've seen it before in our history books. We've seen it before with the brown shirts. We've seen it before with the Gestapo. We've seen it before in countries like Russia. We see it now in China.
Then there's Mike Flynn. He loves talking about the Holocaust, as he did just this week. And as you listen to this, remember, please, this guy was the national security advisor in the White House right before he got in trouble for selling out his country.
You're going to wake up one day and you're going to be, in a metaphorical way, you're going to be told to get on a train like we saw in the late 30s and the 40s in Nazi Germany. Yeah. And all that tragedy, all those people that got on that train ended up going to their deaths. I ain't getting on that train. I'll take a bullet before I get on that train.
So that's Mike Flynn. And just a thought here, it's probably best if people just stop comparing any slight, any burden to the Holocaust, especially the insurrection enthusiasts. While, yes, it's often a showcase for their ignorance, and they mention it for the sheer shock value, the actual Holocaust, as its name implies, was the darkest chapter of the modern era. 6 million Jews were exterminated, and the last of the survivors are leaving us at an alarming rate. Our fathers and grandfathers went to war to save the world from tyranny. About the Holocaust, it is said that we must never forget. But that does not mean constant mentions by a freshman congresswoman or a disgraced former general. The phrase never forget, when you think about it, doesn't apply to you if you've never taken the time to learn about the genocide you so freely mention for effect.